her clinicals for a nurse, so she's a very busy lady. But would you give Miss Briley Wright a good Calvary welcome this morning as she comes to sing for us? And then when she's finished, our youth pastor, Brother Patrick Miller, will come to sermon.
treasure you found. Thank you. Thank you very much, Briley. One thing that I love to see as a youth minister is anytime that somebody is passionate about something, whether it's a student or an adult, I love to see them take that passion and use it for the glory of God. And I've heard many people say, I'm not skilled when, and I've witnessed this, especially on our mission trips we go on, where people say, I'm not skilled when it comes to presenting the message of Jesus, or I don't really feel like I'm that good of an athlete, so I can't play a sport. I could guarantee you there's something in your life that you're passionate about, and my challenge to you, just based upon that, would be to take that thing that you're passionate about and to use it to glorify God. Also, our cake, it hasn't sold yet. We just took it to the refrigerator. It's waiting just for you. Thanks for being here this morning. I want to talk to you guys about something in my life that God has kind of revealed to me, and God has shown me, and He continues to show me. But this morning, I want to talk to you about the incredible power of words. In fact, I think that words are a lot like a fire. They can be used to destroy things, or they can be used to make life better. And if you've ever been camping, then there's 3 things that you know that you need in order to survive while you're camping. You need shelter, you need water, and you need fire. And most of the time when we go camping, we bring the first 2 with us. We bring shelter with us. It might be an RV. And I've been camping a couple of times, and some people have really nice shelter. And then some people bring a tent. And then the other one that we usually bring with us is water. We usually bring some type of bottled water with us. But then the third one we have to make when we get there. We have to make a campfire when we get there. And a fire is practical for a couple of reasons. First, you need a fire when you get to a campsite because you need heat. Sometimes at night it gets really cold, so we like to have a campfire to be around. And the second we need it is to cook food, to heat up our food that we want to eat if you don't have a camper. So let's say if you're in a tent, you need it. But there's just something, in my opinion, that's special about a campfire. And I wouldn't even consider it to be camping if there wasn't a campfire. So in order for you to camp, I think you need a campfire. My parents have been camping 4 times since the spring. And Paige and I have visited the campsite every single time they've been camping. And every time we pull up to a campsite, it's usually a long drive up into Gatlinburg. And if my dog doesn't get sick along the way, then it's a good trip. It's a nice trip. And when we get up there, what happens is I'll roll the window down right as I'm pulling into the campsite, and I start to smell it. If you've ever been camping, you know what I'm talking about, the smell of campfire. You immediately know it, and you're like, oh, that's a good, really good smell. Until it gets in your clothes, and then you have to wash your clothes 4 or 5 times for that to happen. But I still enjoy the campfire smell. Not so much in my clothes, but when I do smell a campfire, I always enjoy it. And I think that there's something incredible, and I would even go as far to say is I think there's something magical about a campfire. From the moment that fire's lit, it can instantly change the whole vibe of the campsite. A campfire just has a way of making people happy. It seems that friendships are better and that conversations are deeper around the campfire. And even more than that, campfires provide us with one of the best inventions in all of human history, eating s'mores, right? I mean, seriously, is there anything better than roasting a marshmallow over a campfire, waiting until it's slightly golden brown, and then perfectly combining it with a graham cracker and Hershey's chocolate, right? Just great stuff. Our student ministry we just had a hoedown, and we just had a campfire, and we had some bales of hay sitting around it, and we were roasting marshmallows and eating s'mores, and it was pretty successful. There was only a couple of people who burnt the marshmallow and started flinging around. Johnny, not naming any names or anything, but one of the things that did happen when in my childhood that I vividly remember, you just had those moments in your childhood that you remember. One time my next door neighbor had a campfire, and so my older brother and I went over there to his campfire, and him and his brother were there. And so we're all sitting around roasting marshmallows, and one of them decided that they liked their marshmallow burnt. Okay, so he sticks his in the fire and he burns his marshmallow, and of course it catches on fire, and so he does the only logical thing that you can think of. He starts waving it back and forth really fast to try and put the marshmallow out. And so the marshmallow flies off of the stick and it's floating through the air. And if you could picture this with me just for a second, I'm sitting in my seat over in the side and I'm watching this marshmallow that's on fire floating through the air, and bam, it lands on his brother's forehead. And it melts, right? And just for the sake of the story, we're going to say that it was still on fire. So he has a fiery marshmallow on his forehead. And so not only was I eating a s'more right there, I also got the entertainment of watching the brothers wrestle each other and fight each other over that moment. It was a great night. Campfire always makes relationships deeper, if you know what I'm saying. But just like a campfire, I believe that the right words in the right place can be one of the best parts of life. The right words spoken at the right time have the power to change everything. They have the power to change how we see ourselves and how we see other people. They have the power to change the way that we experience our own lives. Think about a time when someone said something to you that was really positive and encouraging. It could have been a friend, a coach, or it could have been someone in your family. It may have been yesterday or it may have been 5 years ago, but no matter when it happened, the chances are you still remember it. And you remember exactly what they said to you. And the reason that you remember what they said is because it was powerful. When they said that they loved you, when they said that they believe in you, or they saw something unique in you, it just made you feel special. And that's because words are like a campfire for our soul. But I'm guessing that there's another reason that you remember when someone said something nice to you or encouraging to you. You remember because it's so rare. People just don't do that. Sure, some people may like an Instagram post or a Facebook post of yours. They might even leave a nice comment. But personal, real, honest, face-to-face encouragement, that just doesn't happen very often anymore. Which is odd because we all know that words are powerful and we all know that words can make a difference in someone's life. They can make people's lives better. And I don't think that we believe saying nice words is a bad idea. It's not that we're heartless people who don't want to make someone else's life or at least their day better. In fact, most of us actually think nice things about other people from time to time. We're just in the habit of keeping our nice thoughts to ourselves. That's the title of my sermon this morning, is that we as people are in the habit of keeping our nice thoughts to ourselves. And I think there's probably several reasons for this, but I can think of three. One of the first reasons is because we think that people already know it. Right? If somebody's good at something, if somebody's good at singing and playing the guitar, if somebody's good at a sport, in our mind, they already know that, so why should we have to say something encouraging or something nice to them about that? You might, in particular, think of a sports athlete, right? A person who's good at sports, and everybody's cheering them on. Not Butch Jones, okay? But everybody is cheering on some athlete that's really good. And in our minds, we think since everybody's cheering them on, they know that they're good. They're probably good in the positive feedback department, so why should I say anything nice or anything encouraging? I mean, they already know. So in that sense, we keep our nice thoughts to ourselves. We also think this. We also think that we can't say our nice thoughts to other people because we believe that it might be awkward. And it's strange to picture ourselves telling someone that we're proud of them, or that they're awesome, or that you liked something that they did. And so we imagine the worst case scenario. We imagine this awkward moment in our minds. But the truth is that you can think of times when you have said something nice to someone and there was nothing awkward about it. And that's because I believe that nice is almost never awkward. Another reason I can think of is that negative words are crowd pleasers. In all honesty, like when you think about it, that might sound weird, but the reality is that negative thoughts and negative comments bring about laughter in people. They get attention for us, they impress others. Negative thoughts are typically the way to go. At least that's what we think. So we'll talk trash about our parents, or we'll make fun of someone's most recent accomplishment, or we'll tell an embarrassing story about our little brother or sister. And it's not out of the ordinary for people to laugh when we tell those stories or make those criticisms. If you have Twitter, it seems like every single time I'm on Twitter, nobody's posting anything good, right? Like everybody is making fun of someone else. People laugh more at criticism than they do at compliments. And maybe the last and the most important reason I want to give you why we keep our nice thoughts to ourselves is because for most of us, we don't believe that what we say could really impact others. Just in case you missed that, let me repeat that for you one more time. Maybe you're sitting in the pew this morning and you're like, why is this guy talking to us this morning? Where's Brother Steve at? I want you to just hear this one more time. For most of us, we don't believe that what we say could impact others. I mean, we know that words are powerful, but not our words. We think compliments and encouragement is awesome, but it's not a big deal if it comes from us. But the truth is, our positive words have the power. They have way more power than we realize. And the Bible has a lot to say about it. It has a lot to say about the power of words. Specifically, the book of Proverbs has some great insight on this idea. The book of Proverbs is categorized as a wisdom book, which means it contains straightforward and helpful advice for life. It's real talk about money, friends, and how to make good decisions. It's not a formula or a bunch of rules. It's more like sitting around a campfire and listening to someone who has lived a long life and has great advice and principles about how you and I should live. Proverbs was mostly written by a guy named Solomon, an ancient king who is considered one of the wisest people in human history. And it's not just a book for the book written by Solomon. Solomon is not just a man who was considered to be smart, wealthy, or powerful, although he was all of those things. He was wise, which is very different than being smart. Smart means you know a lot of stuff, and wise means you not only know a lot, but you also put the knowledge into practice to make things better. And Solomon knew which things to put into practice. So we'll be in Proverbs chapter 16, verse 24, if you have your Bible with you. Proverbs 16, 24. I think this makes perfect sense for Solomon to write about words because he knew and understood the power of them. He understood and he knew the difference it could make in our lives and the lives of people around us. And so in Proverbs chapter 16, 24, he wrote this: "Gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones." One more time. Proverbs 16:24. "Gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones." Now, when you and I think about honey, we may think of nicknames that married adults call each other. You may think about something fancy that people put into their tea, or something that maybe even makes waffles taste better. But the reality is that honey actually has a lot of health benefits. It can help with allergies. It can stabilize blood pressure. It can calm your nerves. It can relieve pain. It can help cure the common cold. And it can strengthen your immune system. I think that's pretty cool for something that actually tastes good. And here's the crazy thing. People knew a lot of these things about honey thousands of years ago. So Solomon wants us to think about positive words with the same type of healing power. Sure, positive words, encouragement is sweet and nice, but they're also so much more than that. They can help someone who's worn out and exhausted. They can give someone dignity who feels worthless. They can encourage someone who's hurting. They can comfort someone who's going through a dark season. And even if people act like it's not a big deal, your words still have a huge impact on them. I'm not sure if you're taking notes this morning, but that would be one thing I would tell you to write down and to take away from this message and really grasp, is that even if they act like it's not a big deal, and if you have a teenager, you know this, because they all act this way, even if they act like it's not a big deal, your words have a huge impact on who they are and who they become. In fact, a few chapters later, Solomon sums up this very idea. So if you're still in Proverbs, 2 chapters over to 18, verse 21, Proverbs 18:21. The first part of the verse reads like this: "The tongue has the power of life and death." Just in case you missed it, the tongue has the power of life and death. And maybe that sounds dramatic, but you've seen it before. You've seen words destroy relationships. You've seen words destroy self-worth. And you've seen words destroy future plans. And if you're a student in the room today, or maybe you can even think back to your childhood, you can vividly remember your parents saying some harsh things to each other that destroyed the relationship. Maybe you had a friend who in the heat of the moment said something and it destroyed your guys' relationship. Maybe somebody said something to you and for the next week you struggled with the way you looked, the way you said something, the way you did something. But I think the opposite is also just as true. Words can bring hope. Words can bring healing. They can bring worth in our life, and they can bring a future vision into someone's life. I mean, God himself demonstrated the power of words in the very beginning of creation. When he set the entire universe into motion, he spoke creation into existence. He said, "Let there be light," and the next thing you knew, sunshine. The power of God's words literally created something out of nothing. And he literally brought forth life to the universe by speaking words. And maybe you and I can't speak planets into existence, but our words have more power than we could ever imagine. Remember, we're created in the image of God. That includes our ability to communicate with others. And when you speak the right words at the right time, you create light where there is only darkness. You can create hope where someone feels hopeless, and you can create confidence when someone feels fear. And here's the crazy thing. You and I have no idea what's at stake when we do that. When we use our words to bring life instead of death, we have no clue how that will impact someone's school year, someone's relationship, someone's future. When it comes to our words, we think that what hangs in the balance is someone's mood. We think it might be the chance of someone feeling good or someone feeling bad. And while that's part of it, Solomon is saying that there's so much more at stake. Our words can be the difference between hurt and healing, between life and death. And don't miss this. You don't have to be someone's best friend to notice their talent or their style or their humor. All you have to do is notice something worth pointing out. And again, you probably notice stuff like this all the time. So my question for you this morning is, why not say it? This week I want to challenge you. This is kind of my bottom line for the message, and I do this when I speak to the students for a couple of reasons. I want to make sure everybody at least hears something, but this is what I want you to walk away with today. The bottom line is, don't keep your nice thoughts to yourself. And so what I like to do on the count of 3 is I just want you to repeat that back to me. Okay, so on the count of 3, all you're going to say is, don't keep your nice thoughts to yourself. All right, here we go. Everybody's ready? Ready to participate? Do we know what we're saying? Okay. Don't keep your nice thoughts to yourself. 1, 2, 3.
Don't keep your nice thoughts to yourself.
Great job. You guys sounded good. And let me just say this. You're going to have to be intentional to pull this off. But I truly believe that you can do it. I want you to say something nice or something encouraging to one person in each of the following categories. Someone younger than you. This week, I want you to say something nice or something encouraging to someone younger than you. Remember when you were younger and how you always thought older kids were cool? Your younger siblings, they still think that way about you regardless of how old you are. And adults, you may feel like you don't know a student well enough to give them some type of encouragement. But you have no idea what's at stake when you say something nice to a teenager, to a child, or to your younger brother or sister. So much of who they become, even now, will be because of things that you said to them. Good or bad. You also have a lot of power when it comes to saying nice things to people in your neighborhood, people in your church. So use it for good this week. Also, I want you to say something nice or something encouraging to someone the same age as you this week. People don't say genuinely nice things to other people their age that often. Telling someone that you look great on social media is nice, but for what we're talking about this morning, that doesn't count this week. It has to be face to face, because I believe face to face is better. Specific is better. Telling someone that you value their advice or that you respect their opinion is better. Telling someone that they're awesome at volleyball or playing the guitar is better. Telling someone that you love their sense of humor, their sense of style is better. It's life-giving. And if you would love to hear those words that you're saying, then it's a sign of something good. Third category is I want you to say something nice, something encouraging to someone older than you. Kind words have just as much of an effect on someone older than you as it does someone younger than you. And if you use your words this week, what if you chose this week? What if you said, like, the thing I'm going to do this week is I'm going to encourage a teacher, a coach, a parent, a pastor, a small group leader, a grandparent. What if you thanked them for investing in you? What if you told them that what they do matters and that you really look up to them? What if you told them that they have qualities that you hope to have when you grow up? As an adult who loves working with the church and who loves working with students, I can tell you that you have no idea how life-giving it is to hear from a student, a parent, or someone else in the church or a friend something encouraging. It can make our week. It can make our entire year. But I want you to remember that most people don't take the time to say nice things. But what if some of you in this room this morning took the challenge this week? Right? We kind of do that as church. Like, that was a good message. He kind of challenged us to do some stuff. And I think that maybe some people in the room should do it, but not me. Right? Like, I got too much going on this week. But what if some of us in the room this morning said, hey, we're going to take that challenge? How different would things look around you? Around your friends, around your classmates, your coworkers, your family members, members of your Sunday school class, your small group, if you put this into practice? What if you decided that anytime you thought something nice about someone else, you just said it? Words have more power than you think. So it'd probably change things around you more than you think. See, there are a few things in the world more powerful than words. So don't miss the opportunity to use yours to say something life-changing to someone. And don't keep your nice thoughts to yourself. I want to leave you guys with one last scripture. This is John chapter 13, verse 35. Jesus told us this. He said, your love for one another will prove to the world that you're my disciples. One more time, just in case you missed it. John 13, 35. Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples. If this week you chose to share your nice thoughts with others, and how would that affect your marriage? How would that affect your children? And how would that affect people in this church? You might help someone that's fighting depression. You might help someone that has been teaching Sunday school for 30 years. You might help sustain them and keep them going. You might make your child, your mom, your dad proud to be part of your family. In this church, among our people, I really want to encourage you, don't keep your nice thoughts to yourself. Because if you're a disciple of Jesus, it may lead to other people wanting to follow him because they see how you love the people around you. It may make someone want to be a part of what you have because you chose to say something nice, because you chose not to keep your nice thoughts to yourself. Hey, my invitation this morning is not very complicated. It's a challenge for everybody in the room this week. My challenge is that you don't keep the nice thoughts to yourself. And for some of you in the room, yeah, it's not a big deal, right? Like, I can do that. And then for others in the room who are maybe introverts, you're like, this is going to be one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life. And you start thinking of those three things, right? You start thinking like, my words don't really have an impact on people's life. You start thinking, it's going to be awkward for me to do something like that. Negative thoughts, those are crowd pleasers, right? But my challenge to you this morning is simple. We already talked about it. Your tongue has the power of life and death. You don't know what's at stake when you speak encouragement or nice things into people's life. So my question for you this morning is, who do you need to say it to? Maybe you just need to spend some time as we do the invitation, whether here at the altar or at your seat, you need to spend time saying, hey, God, put some people on my mind in the three categories, older, younger, someone the same age as me, that I can encourage. This is just a real quick side story. One time, I told this at our parent meeting Sunday. One time, we had a younger girl here at church, and I knew that she was fighting some issues with her health, and so I just looked at her and said, hey, I want you to know, I think you look beautiful today. And it wasn't like me coming on to her or anything. It was just like, hey, God said, don't keep your nice thoughts to yourself. So I said that, and she started crying. Right? Like, didn't go as planned. I didn't see that coming. Right? But the truth is that that was something that she needed to hear. It meant something to her. And so in that moment, it was like, oh, okay, well, right? Like, sorry. Didn't mean to. But you really don't know what's at stake when you say something nice or when you say something kind to someone. So I just want to invite you to do this. I just want to invite you to stand where you're at right now, and Brother Bruce is going to lead us in a song. And as we sing this song, maybe where you're at right now, you need to say, hey, God, give me that desire. I don't even really have a desire to say nice things to each other. So give me that desire. Or maybe where you're at, you need to say like, I need to hear something today. I need to hear some encouragement today. So God, put somebody in my life that's going to do that. Or hey, don't miss this, the third thing. The power of our words, the power of our tongue is life and death. And let me say this to you this morning. Maybe you need to cross from death into life forever with Jesus. And you need to just say to Jesus today, hey, I want a relationship with you. Every day from this moment forward, I want to walk with you. I want to talk with you. I understand that's going to be a process. I understand that's going to be a journey. But this morning, I want to start that journey with you. If you're not really sure how to do that, you're not really sure what to say, you're not really sure what that entails, then I want to just invite you to come forward and talk to me about it. Even though it might feel awkward, I just want to invite you to come here and know this, that you coming forward to talk to me is going to change your life forever for the better. So as Brother Bruce leads us, just respond as you feel.
Page 300. With